Grok, which is AI, I'm not exactly sure what it is, ranked Neyland Stadium third best among SEC stadiums. So we'll break down the other stadiums, but first I will ask you, Caleb, what do you think of third in the SEC for Neyland Stadium?
I could have gotten on board because there's a couple stadiums I haven't been to, and I wouldn't have said anything about it. But I have an issue with one of the stadiums ranked ahead of them. And for the record, I want to give a shout out. This was Saturday Down South side. Yeah, Saturday Down South. Adam Spencer used Grok to rank all 16, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him doing this. And so I give him credit on this. But Neyland Stadium,
It was kind of an easy column to write.
yeah, I know, right? Grok wrote it for you.
Yeah.
But I give a lot of, but I could get with one of the stadiums ahead in Neyland. I can't, only because I haven't been there. I can't get with the other one, and I think that's my issue, which we're going to get to.
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
All right. What stadiums rank ahead of Tennessee according to Grok, not Gronk? Brought to you by Ted Russell Ford Lincoln as we broadcast live from the Ted Russell Ford Lincoln Studios, Parkside Drive, and Kingston Pike.
Like a blast from the past, the Super Dealer is back. Look to the skies, Knoxville. The Super Dealer is fighting for price, service, and the American-made. Ted Russell Ford is East Tennessee's #1 volume Ford dealer. Save up to $4,350 on a new Ford F-150 XLT, or get into a new Ford Ranger XLT with no payments for 90 days. Come see the Super Dealer today at either Ted Russell Ford location, Parkside Drive, or Kingston Pike.
Coop here. First down.
Okay, first of all, I want to say this. You take Neyland Stadium 2022, you take Alabama, you take Florida 98, it's as loud as any of them. I've had people tell me they thought they were playing jet engines outside the stadium, and there are a lot of coaches and players that believe that in 98. Seriously, that believe they were playing because it was so loud they couldn't hear each other standing right next to each other. So any of these stadiums that we're going to mention are right up at that ilk where they could have high water marks that they're just as loud as anybody. But let's start with LSU. It is LSU. It's Tiger Stadium. That's #1. I have been there. It's that loud. It's that insane. The heat plays into it early in the year as far as a home field advantage. There's a dad blame Tiger on the sideline. I mean, it's
Got our Cougar in the car.
Did I tell you about my story when I went up to the Tiger?
No, what happened?
Well, I thought it'd like roar or something. I went out of my way, went all the way down on the field. It's hotter than blue blazes. I wanted to get close to the Tiger. So I go up to it, and it did something scarier than roar that made me want to mess my pants. He goes, I mean, I was just like, oh, Lord, I'm getting away from that. The other impressive creature is the Auburn Eagle, but they've got 1,500 mascots, so that's strange. LSU, I got to put them above Tennessee. Sorry.
I am not going to put them above Tennessee, and I'm going to tell you exactly why.
Okay.
If one, as Chancellor Palpatine said in Revenge of the Sith,
nerd alert,
if one is to study the nature of something like the Force, one must study all aspects of it, not just the dogmatic side the Jedi teach. If one is to analyze a stadium, one must analyze a stadium at every time of day, not just at night.
That's fair. Nathaniel pointed that out too. Noon, it was a big flat as a pancake when Tennessee played down there 2 years ago.
Yes, if you go to LSU at noon, that is borderline a home game for you when you visit them. Their fans are hungover. They have no desire to be there. I'm putting the Swamp in this category too, by the way. I'm putting the Swamp in this category. The Swamp and LSU.
The media's hungover too.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that.
LSU is the only place I've ever been where they serve beer in the press box.
That's actually kind of hilarious.
Like, this feels like I shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, LSU at noon is a dull, dead place. It is not that loud of a stadium, guys. It is exciting at night. They try to get all their games at night because of that. I know at night, and I'll give them credit. I'll steal man for a minute. LSU did register an earthquake one time because their fans got so loud. Also skew because it's all marshland down there. But still, they did register an earthquake. But LSU at noon, I mean, Louisiana people and LSU fans are lucky if they make it into the stadium before vomiting everywhere from drinking the night before in that moment. So
very true.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right, second down, Coop, and that is this. Kyle Field. Every single media member I've talked to has said absolutely it is one of the top 2 or 3 loudest stadiums in the SEC. It's one of the few I haven't been to. So I know it shakes. I know it does all that. But Kyle Field is largely considered one of the loudest stadiums in not only college football, but in the world.
Yeah, and I think Kyle Field, I haven't been there either, I'll confess, but everything I've read about it, I'm going to give it credit for being ahead of Neyland Stadium because I do think Kyle Field is loud all the time, no matter what time of day. And I think it's so famous for it. I have no problem with it being ahead of Neyland Stadium.
There we go.
But I have a problem with LSU being ahead of Neyland Stadium.
Third down.
See, this is a little unfair for me to judge because you know the difference between, because I'm going to say Florida is louder. And I think there's some recency bias in this that Florida's not getting more respect by Grok. Listen, I've been to Florida and it's been crazy loud, but it's a little unfair for me to judge just because you know the difference between Florida, LSU, and Tennessee.
Tennessee's actually loud at noon and at 3:30, whereas Florida and LSU are only loud at night. But sure, go ahead.
Well, that's fair, but it's also an open press box at Florida and LSU. So when I'm sitting there, I'm hearing the full roar, whereas Neyland Stadium, it's pretty quiet in the press box because it's insulated. It's closed.
Well, I was going to get to Florida, but remember, third down is Alabama Stadium, Bryant-Denny.
Okay, yeah, third down. All right,
yeah.
So Bryant-Denny Stadium. Don't see this. Don't agree with it. Here it's louder as of lately. Not buying it. Sorry.
Yeah, Bryant-Denny's fourth right behind Neyland, but I don't think Bryant-Denny's fourth. I actually think that, and we're going to get to a few, I think there's a few other stadiums in the SEC louder than Bryant-Denny. Wouldn't you agree?
I think South Carolina is very comparable.
I think South Carolina's louder. Jordan-hare is significantly louder than Bryant-Denny.
Jordan-hare is very loud. Very loud.
Yeah. So, and we'll get, let's save that for fourth down, but just talking Bryant-Denny for a minute. Closing in the one side does make it compete somewhat with Neyland Stadium now. But I'm with you. I don't think it gets as loud as Neyland Stadium. I don't think it really comes close. And by the way, when we're talking, let's put this out there. There's tiers to this, which is that Neyland, Tiger Stadium, Kyle Field, and the Swamp those 4 are on a tier by themselves and how loud they could possibly get, right?
I would agree with that.
Yes. And according to, if you go by Facebook, which is not a real thing, but according to Facebook, Tennessee has reportedly reached the highest decibel level. It hit 137 in 2023 against Georgia. And for those who don't remember, Lou Holtz asked for a decibel regulation on how loud Neyland Stadium got when he was at South Carolina. I kid you not.
That right after he dog cussed me in a radio interview?
Probably. He's such a lame dude.
Jackwagon. Total jackwagon. Blind Squirrel Sports says, I'll make no argument for Sanford Stadium. 31 straight home victories paints a better picture than my words ever could. I will give you this, Blind Squirrel Sports. I would have vehemently argued with you until Tennessee went there in 2022. And Sanford Stadium hit another level of respect in my mind. I still don't have it with Tiger, Collar, Neyland, but I've got it knocking on the door, whereas I might have had it behind South Carolina previously.
Blind Squirrel Sports, let me say this to you. Athens is the best college town in the SEC. If I was to introduce somebody to like the college town game day Saturday in the SEC, I would say go to Athens. Love that place. If you guys could somehow find a way to close in Sanford Stadium, because there's that one side that goes out. I don't know if you can, but if you could.
I thought they did.
I don't think they did. I don't think they have that upper deck still. So I think the sound just goes straight out.
Well, they have that concourse that people have to walk, so maybe they can't physically do it. I don't know.
Then maybe that's it. If they could figure out a way to close it, Athens would win every Saturday in the fall because then it would have a really loud stadium that competes with Neyland and the others, and it would have the best college atmosphere possible. So I'll give you that, Blind Squirrel Sports. I will say that. I love Athens. I could live there. I could live in Athens, honestly. And it's just such a nice town.
Dude,
I mean, I don't want to drive there. I'll say.
Yeah, because you could get run over by a football player.
I'll let you see Center Cooper Mays here. Fourth down.
Fourth down is what, Caleb?
We're going to name a few stadiums that kind of compete that I think were too low that I think could compete with Neyland. So we just mentioned
by nature of its size has to be in the conversation.
What does?
Texas.
Yeah, we'll get there, but Sanford was number 5, and what we were just talking about, Sanford should be lower. The Swamp number 6. The Swamp competes. We talked. The Swamp is tier 1.
That's recency bias. That's the program not being very good lately.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Jordan-hare is number 7. Again, Jordan-hare is close to tier 1. Jordan-hare gets really, really, really loud. For those who don't know it, that's Auburn. Now
that and South Carolina were the 2 most surprising stadiums I ever went to.
South Carolina gets really, really loud too. Now, Auburn and Columbia as towns suck. 2 of the worst towns in the SEC. I would rather live like in Nowheresville somewhere than I'd rather live. I don't know. I can't say where I'd rather live, but I do not want to live in Auburn. Or
You know
Columbia.
the
Those towns
saving
suck.
grace though for Columbia?
What?
Mustard barbecue sauce.
Oh,
Have you ever had mustard barbecue sauce?
yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. That is the absolute best. If they had it around here, I would never eat ketchup-based barbecue sauce. The thing I can't eat that is disgusting, and if you like this on the message board, I want to hear from you because I'm question your sanity, is mayonnaise-based barbecue sauce. Have you ever had that?
Dave, you're forgetting one thing about me. I'm from the greatest barbecue town in the history of the world, and we do dry rub, and we don't do sauce because if your barbecue's good, you don't need it. And so, yeah, and I'm saying I'm from Memphis, but Auburn is in that tier. By the way, another one that's in that tier is you just said at Texas Stadium, Darrell K. Royal Memorial Texas Stadium. It came in at number 8. I feel like they might be in that tier, but don't they have a bit of an opening where it kind of goes out, kind of similar to Oklahoma? And Williams-Brice Stadium should be louder too. You brought that up. Another one that's a little low to me. What do you think of this? Razorback Stadium at 11. Razorback Stadium gets loud.
It does. Yeah, and it was a buzzsaw when Tennessee went there. The Felix Jones, Darren McFadden year.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Their
It was.
College Game Day was there for the first time. It was a buzzsaw. I was like, Tennessee is going to get drilled in this game. When I was walking,
It was so obvious they were going to lose like that day. Eric Ainge was hurt. They had just lost the East the week before. Yeah. And then one of the big takeaways I have, though, one of my big criticisms, Farrett Field at Missouri, number 13. It should be number 16. I would actually take Vanderbilt Stadium over Farrett Field. Farrett Field is a horrible stadium.
because the opposing fans are loud.
Yeah, exactly. I actually think Vanderbilt gets more fans that fills a higher percentage of their stadium than Mizzou. I mean, Missouri is a terrible. You don't get the vibe of an SEC stadium at Missouri at all.
No, you don't. And I firmly believe they shouldn't have been invited into the SEC. I mean, I would have much rather, just for the competitive nature of it, might have made it too tough. I would have gotten Miami or Florida State.
Yeah, I think the idea was TV markets, St. Louis and Kansas City, and that's what they were thinking in 2011 because that was the peak year of cable subscriptions. So now the SEC network, and they knew they were about to do the SEC network, so now the SEC network is in the home of everybody who lives in St. Louis and Kansas City. And so that's where they were thinking with that.